And I think your point on the gender neutrality of the millennials is probably the place where society will be most deeply affected, and it'll change lifestyles, family policies of corporations. It'll change the workforce. All of that's already happening thanks to the pioneering work of a lot of earlier generations of feminists. But it is now such an accepted part of the generation's culture that it will knock down every barrier, change all of the remaining barriers in ways that could only been dreamt of by a Gloria Steinem.
Right, and so what we are going to see, I think, is an elimination of jobs that are traditionally male or traditionally female.
Right, male nurses, for instance.
For male nurses, male grade school teachers,
right.
Things of that sort. I mean, when we were growing up, most of the grade school teachers were women, but
except for the phys ed teachers.
Except for the phys ed teachers, but most of the administrators were men.
Right.
And now those barriers just simply will not exist any longer in education, and increasingly in the corporate world. I know there is still some concern that the top levels of business are still male preserves, and in 20 or 30 years that is going to cease.
Well, and as you see this roaring debate about, whether women can have it all or not, that debate is going to shift to whether men and women can figure out a way so each can have it all as they begin to share more and more of that family raising responsibility.
Exactly.
I think this is so dramatic for corporations that it's as big a deal as the creation of corporate America as we know it today by the GI generation in the 40s and 50s.
Right, and it will also make a big difference in the psychology of families that really are going to have an opportunity to be together. It isn't going to be compartmentalized, wait till your father or your mother gets home.
Right.
To either deal with disciplinary issues or just to be able to enjoy
or to sit
children.
down to dinner, for that matter.
Right.
It isn't necessarily going to happen in that way.
Exactly.